people. Happy 2022. I'm so happy to be back. And I also have a new project which is going to go through the entire year. It's a minimalist art journal using only golds, blacks, black, white, gold and red at the moment. Yeah, and so I'm going to use different techniques, like so many different techniques, so many different paints and foils and all sorts of things. So let's get to the table and join me in this, and I'll tell you a bit more about it then. Okay, bye. All right, so last week we made these papers, just 6 of them. That was all we made in the week, and I've glued them on as I said I would. What I've done is on my black and white book pages there is a picture on one side, and then there is a just words and so forth. So for this particular 6 pages, I've just glued the page down. Now, of course, you don't need to do this. You could actually just find 6 beautiful prints that you actually like in those colors that you've chosen, and do exactly the same thing, right? So those pages are all stuck down on one side. So on the other side, I've made a lot of papers. I've collected a lot of papers in the color range that I've chose, and I have been playing with the idea of on the other side. So on the other side, I glued down. Now these are really random. These 6 pages are really random. It's not really a thought process at this present time. I'm just gluing down, and what I try to do when I'm gluing down is actually gluing down pieces of paper that bits that I want to cover up, and a lot of these had very, very small amounts of pages that I actually wanted to cover up. In fact, I really love these 2. They're far more minimalist than the other pages. But I've only covered up the things that I don't want at this present time. Now this one is a much busier page. So I've covered up the bits that didn't speak to me, and that's fine. So these are the 6 pages. I have on this one actually thrown on some of the leftover print that I had, and put some script that was hanging around in black and white. So just working with what was on the table at the present time. So you can see they don't actually look like anything at this particular moment, but they will as they grow. So today so let me look. Well, we've started with this one. So we kind of need to have some more red. For like, if I look at this, I want a stronger red. I want some more white, and I will utilize a lot of the prints that I've done, and I will show you how I've done a lot of tissue paper prints, and I will show you a couple of those. So these are just a few tissue paper prints with the when I say tissue paper, it's just your average tissue paper. But tissue paper is wonderful just due to the fact that it allows you to see what's underneath. Now, where's an example of that? So I have started with a lot of really, these are all found object prints, because I was up at my girlfriend's and I had no stencils or anything like that. I just had white, red, black paint. I didn't even have gold on these, so there's no gold on these. These are just black, white and reds. She had a couple of reds. I didn't even take any papers up. So I've done a whole heap of these. I am going to show you I'm going to do some gold ones today. I wanted to show you a technique that allows you, let me just find one. There's actually like that. there's one there. So this technique where you can actually still see the translucent paper, and you can still see through it to the grey, and then it has these little prints on it. So I'm going to show you how I do that, because I don't feel like I've done that before. And so I will get organised, and then we'll go to the table, and I'll just quickly show you how I do that. Okay, so this packet here is just tissue paper. It's white acid-free tissue paper, and it came in a 500 by 750 millimeter, and then I just cut it up. So it's all done and all ready to go. And yes, I have my beautiful grunge plate out ready to also happen. And I've got, so found objects, that's all I'm doing today. I'm just going to do some found objects, but I'm going to do them in a kind of a different way so that they leave that that translucent, you can see through them. So there's only one colour on these few pieces of paper that I'm going to do. And if I could find a brayer, I would be on my way, but I don't seem to be able to put my hand on it. Oh, there it is. All right. So it's dried a little bit on the plate, and I'm going to drop this on there. And I am going to just see whether or not I can create it on this plate or not. So instantly you have this beautiful organic line worked page that you can use in your collages. And you also have the one that you can pull up. And remembering these are tissues, so they're meant to have gaps. They're meant to show through. That's what I want. So there's the other side of it, and that's that. So I'm just going to do a couple. I'm going to do straight lines. Oh, that's too much. Do not put too much on, because it actually it takes a while to dry on the plate. It needs to dry up a bit so that it doesn't actually just pull it all up in one hit. This is a lighter gold. Not sure how that one would work. This one is like a much stronger gold. I was wondering if you have a black page. You can see, while I'm waiting for that to dry, you can see how you're going to be able to see through to the page underneath. So it's going to be, you know, that pattern and so forth will show through. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for making pieces that actually can do that, so that you can create a artist piece on each piece of this art journal that we're making. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I might just so I hope you've all found a book. This book of mine, as you know, it's a black and white book, and I've been adding, so these are pieces of collage paper that I've just started adding to the picture on. Now what I do is I go, and I know that it doesn't look anything now, you just got to go with the flow, go with the techniques, okay? So what I've done is, in collage, you pretty much, especially when there's a picture underneath, now it might be an old black and white book on gardening, or an old black and white paint drawing book, or just could be one of yours, could be things you've got from the internet and printed out that you want to, you know, use those as the background. You could have something lying around. Doesn't have to be black and white. Also can be some particular colors in a book, you know, that you've decided that there's a lot of that color, and then you're just going to collage, can't get the word out, collage over the colors that you actually don't want in your pages. And it is just a play, as you know. I mean, it's not precious at all. So you've just got to relax and have fun with it. So this is a sewing machine, as you can see. So the book went this way and I've turned it this way. So all of my signatures will be only three, because it's very thick cardboard paper, this one. So I'll only have 3 in each signature when I'm done. And it's just a matter of building up with all the different techniques that I'm going to do. So this here, see how you can still see through a lot of that? This is tissue paper that I've printed off, and so is this one. This is one that I've done in red, like I'm doing in the gold. This is just a red one done with the end of the tube of paint. This is this one here. And this one here is just a circle and then another circle in the middle. So you squelched it down into the paint and pulled it off. So these are just the beginnings of the page, and they will take some time to grow. And also, you have to remember that when you're doing this, we're actually working on the whole page, but when it's in the book, when it's finished, it will only actually be that half page. So and I really am going to try to make it minimal. You know, a lot of my work is very, very busy. So that is one of the things that this year I'm going to try and focus on, is trying to minimize my work and not have it so busy, yeah? Have a lot of negative spaces and things like that. So let's just see if this will work for me. It's a very moist day in Australia. It's been torrential downpours, and I'm in my studio and it's as muggy as out here. So the paint is actually not drying well at all, so you'd have to kind of play with the time frame to do this in your area. But you can see, it's always good to have circles. And you can also do tiny ones if it was working properly. I've done on my other one tiny dots. So this one's a circle one. Let's just see how that worked. All right, so it didn't work quite as well as the other ones, and I think it is because of the day, but I still love them because you have that grey area and so forth. And I will pull up the gold onto something maybe. You have a few pieces of paper kicking about that I might just clear that off onto. Add another bit of texture. Oh, this was one. So this was done on one I did on paper. So it's not translucent, but this is the same. It's just the crisscrosses and all these. That is physically turning the end of the. You just get these. Now, this piece of paper, I might only use that bit there because I love that bit there, or that bit there because, you know, it's a piece of paper. It took me probably, 30 seconds to make. It's not, you don't have to use it all. None of it has to be perfect at this point, yeah? Because when you're collaging, you just use what you think will look good, and when you're playing, which we will do soon. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to try red. Or no, actually, what am I saying? I'm going to try white. Now, this white, opaque white, well, I won't use that one. I'll just use some opaque white. And just see. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this down there. And I am going to Just draw with the white. And you get this gorgeous piece of paper which picks up a bit of the gold that was on there too. I don't know that there's that much to pick up, but I will pick up that last bit. So you can make a couple of pieces of gold and a couple of pieces of white, and I mean, obviously you could also, you know, so we're going to make a few different textures on the plate. So you've got that translucent, you know, again, you've taken it away, but they're all organic papers. And you can make a couple more of those, just with a little bit more. And that's probably enough. So I'm just going to, I want there to be translucent areas. I want there to be, you know, white, but I also want there to be translucent areas on there. So, and I know it is white and not gold. Oh, I love that. That's gorgeous. Okay, I'll just pull the rest on there the other way, just for a bit of difference. Don't use much paint, and as you can see, it will, when it's dried, it will just give that mark and still be transparent. So I'm just going to do one more gold with, I think, the last bit of this tube. Thin layer. And obviously, you know, if you're doing botanical or cats or I don't know, whatever you're actually doing, you would create these in some way that they would, you know, go together. So you don't really have to think about it, I don't think, because I think it's very intuitive. You know, everyone has an intuitive sort of way of doing things, you know. Not that they know. It's quite difficult to see this one. This one's not so thick. Black paper underneath my board is going to be the go, I think. I need to find some. All right. We'll just throw a couple of those. On. then we'll go this way. And pick up the last bit on the top there. Like so. All right. All right. I will catch you with the next technique next week. And I would suggest that you start to maybe add to your pages is what I would be doing. So with the pages so far, I would just see if there's any that actually you can start. So you've got your page and start collaging just a couple of parts, on each page. Okay, don't go crazy. Yeah, don't cover. I mean, you can cover it all totally, like this one. This one is actually covered. So this is from last week, the print, all those 6 pages that I did. And this one here is from earlier, the same technique as today, but it obviously was working much better with the black and the red than the actual gold. Although the gold, when it's dry, I feel like it will be awesome. But so you've got, because you've done different techniques in every area, you can kind of, you know, pick that bit out for one page and then this bit out for another and that bit out. So one piece of tissue paper becomes actually utilised in all of your collages. That's why you don't need so many of them. But I would definitely suggest you have an opaque gold with a lot of body in it, because I have not got one and it's been a bit difficult. All right, I'll leave you with that. Next week we'll do another technique. All right, look forward to seeing you then. Bye.